Hello, everyone, and welcome to Tangle Time Arts. My name is Nana Heron, and I'm a certified Zentangle teacher. And today we are celebrating day 10 of the Inktober Tangles, put together by Stephanie Jennifer. So a big shout out to Stephanie. Thank you, Stephanie. Day 10 brings us a tangle called Sweet Pea by Yoko Kageyama. She's a CZT2. Um, and we are going to attempt this with the wavy or the curvy version of it. The original has a straighter line, like a zigzag, but I think the curvy, the wavy one is prettier. So we're going to do that one. And for this project, you will need a white tile, a black pen, a red pen, a number 2 pencil, a tortillon, and something to draw a circle with. So I am going to start with the circle. You want roughly a 2-inch circle. And so I'm going to put that in now. It's not that big. Usually we work with slightly larger circles, but this is big enough for what we need to do. And then we're going to take our black pen and we are going to kind of draw our wavy line around the circle. Like that. And then we're going to start, once we have our wave in there, then we're going to add some, they're like swirls, but they remind me of fescue a little bit. So every time you see like a hill or a bump here, we're going to follow along that line and then make a swirl. But it kind of reminds me of a fescue. I'm going to rotate here, and I'm going to do the same on the inside. When we come off this bump, we're going to put a swirl. And I think we have one more here, like that. So once we have those in, then we're going to aura around those. So we're just going to aura around the shape here, but then we're going to come down to a point. So starting here, we aura around that, kind of come out a little wider, and then come back into a point. And I'm going to do the outside ones first. Like that. And then we can do that on the inside too. But it's kind of the mirror opposite of that. So we start inside, aura around, and come down to a point. Then we have one more. And from this point, it's really just a matter of adding this curved shape as many times as you'd like. So I'm going to start a little further back. I'm not starting over here with an aura. I'm kind of starting a little further back and just adding another curve. And you can add as many as you'd like. So on the outside, I have more space, so I can add more of them. When we go to the inside, we're not going to have as much space. So yeah, you might want to only have like 3 of these. How many did I put over here? 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. I think we could actually add another one. So I'm going to add another one to each of these, just because we have that space. But if you don't want as many, you don't have to add as many. And I keep rotating so that I can be more comfortable when I work on this. All right, and now we're going to switch to the inside. Let me start with a smaller one first. So we did our aura around that, and just like we did on the outside, we are going to embellish with those curve shapes. And I think I'm going to do them one at a time because the space is a lot tighter. So in case we have to do some layering here, which we do. When we run into another one, we lift our pen, fly over to the other side, and then come back down. And then let's add another one, another layer. Okay, so that's kind of woven in there. And then something that I like to add to this one, because now we're just kind of embellishing and making this totally our own. So what we can do is we can ink in these areas here. And because we're working in the round here, this is kind of my take on this tangle. It would definitely look different if we were working in a straighter line and not in a circle. So I'm just inking in this space here for all of them. And then we can do the same on the inside. So it's kind of this triangle area. And if you find this fun to do with the circle, if you have a larger circle, of course you could have more waves. And then it's going to be even more intricate. And then we've got this one more here. And I think I'm going to actually ink in the center here because it's not very large. And I just feel like it could use some ink. Um, if you would prefer to fill that in with graphite, you can do that um, if that's your preference. All right, and once we have that, I think I am going to switch to the red pen for a moment. And I am actually going to add some orbs. And I'm going to do that on the outside here. So I have my initial um, swirl, and in the second one over, so we've got our initial one, and then we've got the kind of the partials. Um, I'm going to put some orbs, and orbs are just little circles, and we just go around. I like to go twice so that the shape is well defined. I am using a jelly roll today, but if you don't have one, you can use any type of pen in any color that you like. Um, I'm kind of in a very contrasty, bold mood, so um, I'm going with the red. But you might like to try something like with an orange or a copper color since it's fall. So I like to fill in these little spaces around the orbs like that. And then I'm going to go to the next one. I'm going to do the same thing, fill in some little orbs here. And then fill in the leftover spaces with ink. All right, let's go to our next one. All righty. Keep rotating. And this one. like that. And then because we have so many other ones on the outside, we could either do orbs or we could just ink in one of these. And why don't we just try filling it in? It kind of go like this. And then I'm going to leave a little bit of white space, I think. And keep inking in like that. I'm going to do that on the last one too. A little bit of white space just for interest. All right, cool. I think this would definitely be a fun to try this in a color like orange or even blue. So I hope you get creative and try different things. All right, and then we're on our last section on the outside here. Then we'll deal with the inside. That. All right, cool. So now we can do the same thing on the inside, but we don't have as many layers there. So I'm just going to, let's start, what would be a good one to start with? This one. So not our initial swirl, but the next one over. We'll put orbs in. And then we can ink in. All right, let's try another one. Okay, and it's getting really thin, so I'm just going to ink that in. Alrighty. Yeah, it looks pretty cool. And then we've got another one to do. Right, and we have one more. This one is kind of tucked in here a little bit, so we'll do our best to fill it in. All right. The ones inside here are a little more challenging because it's a smaller area. So if you feel it's too small for the orbs, you could just ink the whole thing in. All right. So now I think I'm going to go and do a little bit of shading. So with this tangle, when you do this kind of in the straighter ribbon-like version, you would kind of fill this area in with different tangles. But for our purposes, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it like that because I kind of like it like that. If you would like to add tangles to connect these areas, you can. Um, but I'm not really interested in doing that. I guess something I could do is add a little detail, but we'll do that after we do some shading here. So I am just going to add graphite, take my pencil, and on the kind of on the side, not the point, but on the side of the pencil works best for putting some graphite down. Um, and just work my way around. So we're just slowly but surely adding some graphite like that. And for the inside, because we went all the way to the center, really the only area that you might want to add some graphite is this kind of area here. It looks a little empty and we haven't put anything in there yet. So we could add a little bit of graphite. All right, now we can take our tortillon and let's start on the inside and work our way out. So it's just kind of a light rubbing back and forth motion. Just to blend it into the paper. I do have the line from my circle because I put it in a little darker than I normally would, and I do that so that you at home can see it. Otherwise, it just doesn't show up very well. Once we have that done, then we can start on the outside. And rotate and turn your tile as you need to, whatever works best for you. And if you'd like, with with the graphite that's already on your tortillon, you can add a little shading to the centers of these. Just a touch, just a little bit. So we have something like that. And then to finish it off, I'd like to embellish a little bit. So I'm going to start on the inside here, and these areas, so we have a swirl, and then there's kind of an empty spot here. We added some shading, but I'm just going to add another swirl, but in the opposite direction from this swirl. So this one we swirled to the left. So I'm going to just bring this up and swirl to the right, just for a little added color. If you don't want to do that in red, you could do that in black. And then we're going to do the same on the outside. This swirls to the right. So I'm actually going to swirl this to the left. And these are little fescue type shapes. Like that, just for a little added whimsy. All right. I think we're done, actually. It's a very playful take on Sweet Pea, wavy style, curvy style. And like I said, if you work larger, if you have a larger circle, you are going to get many more waves. So right now we have like 4 on the outside, but you might have 6 or 8 or even more, and you would have that same number on the inside. All right, I'm going to add my initials somewhere. Not quite sure where to add it on this one, so I think I'm just going to actually not incorporate it, but just put it in a corner like that. Once in a great while I do that. I'm going to turn this over. and fill it out with my name. And it's day 10. So 10/10/24. We have Inktober Tangles 2024, day number 10. And it's called Sweet Pea. And that's by Yoko. Just make sure that I'm spelling it right. Yoko Kageyama, Yama, Yama. Thank you, Yoko. This is sweet. Super cute. But ours is in the round. So it might look a little different from other people's, but that's okay. You can decide how you'd like to do it and how you'd like to embellish it, make it your own, use different colors, try it in all black and white. Make sure you get a chance to really admire your work, hold it up and take a look at it, and really appreciate what you were able to do. I know I'm so happy to spend this time with you and to create these new little pieces of art. Isn't this cute? It's a lot of fun. Thank you so much for joining me. I will see you tomorrow. Have a great day and stay well. And remember, I love you guys. All right, bye-bye.